All right, everybody, welcome to the 12 o'clock show with Mayor Joe without theme music, but we're going to go ahead and keep on moving anyway. Today, I'd like you to welcome my guest, Cornell Robertson from Franklin County Engineer's Office. Really excited to have you here. It's a great partnership that we have. But first, I do have to take a second to thank a very special group of people. I'm sure you're familiar that this has not been the easiest couple of years for nurses in the entire world. So this is actually going to be National Nurses Week. So I want to give a big shout out and a proclamation to all the nurses out there. Whereas, since President Reagan's national proclamation of 1982, May 6th through May 12th has been observed as Nurses Week, culminating on May 12th, the birthday of Florence Nightingale. And whereas the nursing profession plays a critical role in improving patient outcomes, increasing access, coordinating care, and reducing healthcare costs. And whereas the depth and breadth of nursing professions meet the different and emerging healthcare needs of the American population in a wide range of settings. And whereas a renewed emphasis on a primary and preventative healthcare will require better utilization of all of our nation's nursing resources. And whereas more qualified nurses will be needed in the future to meet the increasingly complex needs of healthcare consumers in the community. And whereas National Nurses Week is a time for everyone, individuals, employers, other healthcare professionals, and community leaders to recognize the vast contributions of the positive impact of nurses, especially during the challenging times of the last few years with COVID-19. Now, therefore, I, Joe Bagany, proudly the mayor of the city of Reynoldsburg, proclaim May 6th through 12th as National Nurses Week. So congratulations to the nurses out there, and thank you for all that you do. Now, with that, we're going to go ahead and turn about and talk about construction. So we've got a lot of good things going on out there. So we're going to start off. What are some of the big projects that aren't in Reynoldsburg that you guys are going to be working on as the county engineer?
Mayor Joe, let me say thank you very much for this opportunity to be on your program today. I value very highly our relationship. You have excellent vision for the city of Reynoldsburg. I recognize that, and teammates that work at my office who live in Reynoldsburg have mentioned that as well. The Franklin County Engineer's Office, our mission is to provide for safe and efficient movement of people and goods from place to place by designing, building, and maintaining safe roads and bridges. We are an agency of action, innovation, and collaboration. And so it's that element of collaboration that makes me so excited for programs like this and the partnerships that we have with you in the city of Reynoldsburg. You mentioned that we have other projects in Franklin County. This is a very busy program this year. We have 5 bridge projects. We have 12 highway related projects. And we have 6 projects that are specific to drainage, as well as our resurfacing program, which totals about $7 million this year.
It's a lot of work.
Yes, sir.
But it's good. I'll have to follow up on a question on that one in a little bit. But you know, we know that the federal government is able to put a lot of money into infrastructure, and slowly but surely, it's getting trickled down to the municipalities and the counties and things like that. So how do you give a priority to bridges? How do you judge that this bridge needs to be replaced and this bridge needs to be repaired, or this bridge is kind of like Goldilocks? This bridge is perfect. How do you make those determinations?
Great question, and we too are very excited about the IIJA, Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. Very excited for that. And for Franklin County, we're going to be quick to figure out how we can apply for those grants and bring just as much of that money as we can to Franklin County. And so the Franklin County Engineer's Office, we have 365 bridges that we are responsible for. We inspect each of those bridges every year, and we have what we call a grade card, pretty much. And we grade each of those bridges again every year, and by grading so, we are able to find if there are areas of accelerated deterioration. And if we find that, then we may move that bridge higher on the list for rehabilitation or replacement. The grades range from 0 to 9, with 9 being a bridge that has just been rebuilt or reconstructed, is perfect. And then a 0 would be a bridge that has failed, that is, has collapsed. And so for Franklin County, we don't have any bridges in the 0, 1, 2, or 3 category. The bridges that are on the lowest end of the scale are the bridges that are rated 4, stands for poor. And we have all such bridges programmed for rehabilitation or replacement in the next couple of years.
That's good. I mean, there was actually, and I don't know if you saw this, there was a video just the other day that was out on social media about a bridge that I believe it was in Pakistan that actually collapsed. there was obviously they had suffered a lot of extra rain, and so you saw the water coming, and then you could just, you know, when you're looking at it, you're like, this is not going to end up well. But you see a bridge that looks as sturdy as any bridge you've ever seen, and then just all of a sudden the water just came and just took it out like it was nothing. Bridges are incredibly important. Thankfully, there was nobody on those bridges, but at the same time, you know, infrastructure has been definitely a priority all the way. Everybody knows we need to work on bridges. Everybody knows we need to invest in those roads. So I'm happy to do that, and I don't even want to talk if there are any bridges on that list for Reynoldsburg yet. So, but we'll let you know when those numbers come out. One of the first projects that we're really going to be collaborating on is actually going to occur this summer. This is our what we've kind of jokingly called the getting rid of the sidewalks to nowhere. So this is going to be a sidewalk from Graham Road in Palmer all the way to the intersection at the 5-way. But what makes our collaboration more unique is there is a bridge there that's controlled by the Franklin County Engineers, and so we're going to be putting in a pedestrian access for that. So this is something that just didn't happen overnight. This is something that we talked about really for about the last 2 years, but now we're finally at that stage that we're going to go ahead and get this done. Yes. So why don't you talk a little bit about how your agency is going to be working with us on this?
Well, that particular pedestrian bridge, again along Graham Road, was designed in-house by our own bridge department. And we're able to begin building the beams with our own bridge maintenance department. And so we're able to keep a lot of this work in-house. We have plans to begin construction of that bridge in August of this year. So that's how close we are. We're really ready to get out there and start making those improvements. And then that will be a project that has been designed by county engineer funds for the most part. And we plan to build that bridge with our funds. We feel like that's appropriate for use of our revenue streams. And then that will work nicely with a project that Reynoldsburg will do that you'll be administering for the trail that will extend to the north and to the south. So this is a perfect example of governments working together and good collaboration.
I'm really excited because this is not an easy project. Anytime that you're dealing with a bridge, it's never going to be an easy project. But in comparison to our next project that we're going to work on, this is probably going to be a walk in the park. What the big project that we're obviously really excited about here is our Wagner Road project. I think in the days that there was a time before COVID, if you remember way back then, we had an opportunity to actually walk part of Wagner Road, and when we were talking about it, so this would have been on a nice sunny day in probably February or March of 2020, just before all of that hit. And we had an opportunity to actually kind of take a look at that. Fast forward with your support and support of other agencies like our school districts, some local churches, the township, we were able to secure that OPWC fund, and that was just such a huge. Sometimes there are moments that are fleeting, and you feel good about it, and then 20 seconds later you move on to the next thing. This one I actually enjoyed for about 25 minutes, so that was pretty good. But it's going to be such a huge project, and it's going to be so beneficial from everybody. From my point of view, this started when you heard about the young lady who was killed on McNaughton Road a few years ago. And McNaughton and Wagner are similar in some degrees. And so working to try and find a way to provide pedestrian safety and everything else in there has been a very big priority. And without your support and your help, who knows where this project would be. But with that, I'm excited about it. Why don't you tell how this is going to be impacting the engineer's office?
Yes, well, again, appreciate that leadership from you and the collaboration that you've allowed for. This has been a project that the engineer's office has been interested in and involved with for a very long time. And there have been even other applications made for OPWC funding that didn't quite make the winning grade. Yeah. But this most recent application and it was a big win. It's about $3.5 million. Yeah. That's a great win for OPWC funding. And then our office, through I guess my leadership, I'm willing to contribute $1.6 million, which will add to the ability to have other amenities that are important not only to Reynoldsburg but also to the engineer's office. Things such as pedestrian facilities will allow for a third lane to be built for that full length along Wagner from Main Street north to Broad Street. That's a section that, as I've been in the community more as the county engineer, I've heard quite frequently from our constituents of how interested they are in not only in the roadway improvement but also pedestrian facilities. And so I think by all these groups coming together, as you mentioned, and I as a developer as well, I think all these sources of revenue will allow for a project of that size to be built with all those features that are important to all of our constituents.
And we've had two major meetings so far, and the last one I wasn't able to attend all of it because apparently there's this, I don't know, potato chip company called Intel, I don't know, chip company, something like that coming in. So I had to go to that one, but we've already had those two, and the survey work is already being, it's already done and getting finished up. And so now we're actually getting into that fun part of, actually going out and talking to the residents and say, this is what it's going to be. It's not going to be, a sidewalk right in front of your front porch if you're living on Wagner Road. It's going to be different than that, but it's good to get that information out there.
Yes.
It's a lot of excitement all the way across. It's going to be a lot of good public meetings. A lot of people are interested in this, and again, it's one of those things where we find those partnerships with all these different agencies, and yes, partnerships in different agencies of government can work together, and we found a way to do it, and it's going to be a great project all the way across. So we'll be here seeing each other a lot over the next couple of years.
Construction, I think, in 2023.
August of 23 is where we're scheduled for right now. So it's exciting. Every time I drive by there, my kids are really frustrated because I point out all the things that are going to change, and I'm like, hey, there's a dedicated turn lane over there. There's where a traffic lights, just that type of thing. But it's something that should be championed for our community because it's going to be great. Our goal, hopefully, is to have the pedestrian access from our farthest eastern boundaries, which is out by our Summit Campus High School, all the way into pretty much the opposite side of everything, all the way down to our Civic Park area. And just so that way you don't have to walk on Main Street or Broad Street. You can go through some back pathways and some nature trails and things like that. And Wagner Road is going to be such a huge part of it to cross safely there.
Good connectivity.
Yes.
Yeah, very nice.
Well, I don't have any other questions for you. Do we have any questions from our tens of people watching?
We did get a question that says, will traffic on Graham Road be maintained or detoured during bridge construction?
Great question.
Yeah.
It will likely have to be detoured. Now, we will try for a soft closure, only during work hours, but that's one of those details that we have yet to finalize.
Yeah.
And we are always sensitive about detouring traffic, but that may be necessary to just allow the project to be built in the most expeditious way so we can be done with it and get out of there. But we'll balance all those trade-offs as we get closer, and we'll work with you, of course.
Yeah. The big thing, especially with that I've learned a lot about over the last, because the Main Street construction, which I'll talk about in a second, talking to the guys out in the field, they have to have that sense of safety to do their work. And so while the barrels are always, everybody makes jokes about, the state flower of Ohio is the orange barrel, and that those barrels have to be put into place so those workers can feel comfortable doing their work without having to look over their shoulder every 5 seconds. We were just out there about an hour before the show, walking on Main Street. So they were, some guys are cutting some bricks and putting the bricks into the street pattern and all of that. And they're right up on the edge of the street, and they're doing the work just the way they have, but because they have that confidence that's out there.
Yeah.
So for all those residents out there that when you see those orange barrels, please make sure you drive a little slower, be a little safe, make sure everybody comes home. One of my former students is actually working in construction, not on this project, but she's in a different thing, and she always posts things that she sees, and sometimes those horrible circumstances where something happens because somebody was speeding a little bit too much or not paying as much attention. So we want to make sure those workers get home, and the same thing I think for that bridge project is going to be, that's where that's going to come into play.
Yes, absolutely.
That's it for right now.
All right. Well, again, thank you so much for coming. I know you're incredibly busy. You've got an entire city to rebuild and bridges and roundabouts and everything else. So I appreciate you taking some time to talk with us today, and we'll definitely have you back on. And hopefully the next time we'll be actually out on site. Maybe we'll go out and do a show right from Graham Road.
That sounds good.
All right. Thank you very much
Thank
again
you,
for
Mayor.
coming in. Appreciate it.
Have a great day.
Thank you. You too. All right. Again, thank you to my guest, Franklin County Engineer Cornell Robertson. Always entertaining to talk about all these wonderful projects that are going along in the city. So we're going to go ahead and talk about some other fun things. You heard me mention the Main Street update. So right now, about an hour ago, the crew that is out there working on the bricks on the Memorial Plaza are basically finishing up. They're going to probably take the rest of this day just because now we're getting into the point where you're not just putting a brick in, but you got to angle it and cut it just the right way. Once that's done, the two westbound lanes are going to be open. So those orange barrels are going to be pulled off to the side, and so you'll have full access westbound on Main Street. And all of the real work will then begin starting, really, some of it started this week on the other side, where you're going to start to see where the expanded curb lane goes. you're going to start to see, some of that stuff being taken up and basically a carbon copy on the other side. So next time you're driving down Main Street and you're right in front of Memorial Plaza, take a look at what it looks like. So right now you're going to see the brick sidewalk and you're going to see temporary wood railing in the area. That's basically going to be the pattern all the way on both sides of Main Street, from around the bridge all the way to Wagner Road. The depth will vary a little bit, and some of the street area will vary just a little bit, but that's going to be the general idea of what this project is going to look like when it's done. So it's going to be incredibly pedestrian friendly, it's going to have a lot of access, and it's actually going to look really, really nice when we get to that point. So again, hopefully by the end of the day today, the brick layers will be out of that particular section, and then that way both westbound lanes on Main Street are going to be opened up, and then the work will go on to the other side. You'll also notice that there's a message board out there talking about signs that mentions something called a zipper merge. I don't know if you're familiar with the zipper merge. We are trying to work on, in essence, a somewhat humorous instructional video that we're going to get out there about what a zipper merge typically does. Basically, it's just like what you would imagine. You have both lanes full, and then as you go down both lanes, the car that's basically getting ready to merge will merge in, then the next car will go, and then the next one will merge in behind that one. So you alternate cars going through the intersection. It's actually proven that is a faster, more efficient way to do things. However, a lot of times in Ohio, some very happy words are said when people are moving by in that open lane all the way down. Some people feel that they should wait in line just like everybody else did. And that is that's my first reaction as well. But a lot of times when you do the zipper merge, it's a lot easier. If you've been to a crew game, if you've been to the Blue Jackets or things like that, a lot of that zipper merge thing is done in the parking garages where you go, then the car on the opposite side goes and back and forth and things like that. It does help keep the traffic going. So we are working on that. So keep in mind, we'll see that zipper merge video coming out in the not too distant future. Just also wanted to talk about a wonderful opportunity to support our police officers. That's going to be this Saturday from 10:30 till 12, or while supplies last. Next week begins the National Police Week, and so we're going to be handing out blue light bulbs to be put on, on our porch lights all the way throughout this next week. And we'll be passing out a large number of them. So if you are interested, make sure you come to City Hall. We'll direct you in. We'll have you go through a circle. You'll get a light bulb. You'll get some information about the event itself and what it means. And it's just a great way to show support for some of our police officers out there. They're doing such a fantastic job for us. I know my blue lights are ready to go. We've been doing this for a couple of years. But if you're interested, again, this Saturday right here at City Hall from 10:30 until supplies run out. Last time supplies were pretty quick to go, so go ahead and make sure you pick those up. Also wanted to let you know, Council was gracious enough on Monday to go ahead and approve the funding for the early warning system that will be installed on one of the bridges or one of the areas in and around Blacklick Creek for water detection system. Obviously, last week we did have, again, excessive rain as well, but this will allow to kind of give people just a little bit more warning that the potential for flooding could come in. We have not gotten official word yet from our grant. Believe me, the moment that we do, we'll probably break in live breaking news and let everybody know, but we're hoping to hear that pretty soon. Another event that's coming up is actually a chance for residents of Reynoldsburg to have their say on what a potential bus rapid transit stop would look like here in Reynoldsburg. So there's going to be a number of these stops, one at the Bryson Main intersection, another one somewhere between Davidson and Haft, and another one out further out east. But there's going to be stops there, and they want to make sure that the stops are very specific to what Reynoldsburg is like. They want to have it themed that way. So it's too easy to say a tomato. We want to do some other things. What else is represents Reynoldsburg all the way? You know, do we put our, the city of respect? Do we put other things in there? But this is your chance to go, and this will be on Saturday, May 21st from 2 to 4:30 p.m. at the Reynoldsburg Library. They'll have a great room there that you can go, and you'll have a couple of members of council there, and they'll be kind of getting information about this and listening to the community about what they would like to see as far as what these bus stops potentially could look like moving forward. While you're there, you can probably see some pictures of what the brand new library is going to look like. So planning for the Planning Commission approved the library plans last week, And so you're going to start seeing some movement soon. Eventually, the current library is still going to be able to offer books. They're going to move that to the strip center that's behind it in a former dollar store, and you'll be able to still check out books in that location. Then they'll get ready to demo the original library that is still there, and then the brand new library will be built on site between the current building and then the building that has been torn down before that. I've shown some pictures before. It is absolutely gorgeous. They did a great job. Very open, very pedestrian friendly, very user friendly. It's going to look really, really good. So before you go to that, I want to make sure you have a couple of other things on your list to do. You can come to Plant Reynoldsburg. It's one of my favorite things. I've been doing this for a long time. You come out here to City Hall and you have the opportunity to plant beautiful flowers all the way throughout the area in City Hall. And it is about as user-friendly as possible. They tell you the plants are actually already laid out in the area, and all you have to do is dig a hole, put the plant in, and move on. And so far, all the plants that I've planted have made it through, and that's saying a lot. So come out and just enjoy some time on Saturday the 21st from 9 until when we're done planting. The more people that come out, the quicker everything goes. And it's really nice to see over the course of the entire year how the flowers come up and how it kind of beautifies the City Hall area and things like that. We also have a couple of other fun things coming up, so be on the lookout first for the Tomator. Get it? Tomator. Yeah, it's there. The Tomator is a great opportunity for people to experience things maybe that they are as familiar with about what's going on. So basically, this is your passport book, and you're going to have an opportunity to kind of attend events. There's things like the Food Truck Friday. There's movie nights, concerts at the Lawn, music on the cul-de-sac, something called the Tomato Festival. I don't know if anybody's heard of that before. But there's all sorts of opportunities out there for you to participate. And if you actually get this stamped and attend a certain number of events, there's going to be a chance to take some money off maybe if you have children in our Parks and Rec system, or if you would like to participate in a program. There's always obviously T-shirts involved because we love T-shirts here in the city of Reynoldsburg. Most of us do. So we've got that as well. We also have our litter cleanup. If there's any group that wants to clean up litter throughout the city of Reynoldsburg, or just any family that wants to, give us a call here at City Hall. We have the trash pickers, we have the garbage bags, and we have the vests, depending on what area you're going in. Happy to sign those out to you so you can do that. We're enthusiastic about it. Now that the weather's gotten a lot nicer, I know that when we go out, we have two dogs at our house, a big German Shepherd and a tiny little Pomeranian. And so my wife will walk the two of those, and I'll have a trash can and my garbage picker, and I will go up into our neighborhood and just start collecting things. It's amazing how much is out there. Sometimes makes me wonder why people are throwing things out in that way. So again, try not to do that. But if you want to have that opportunity to kind of pick up some of that litter and just get rid of it, it's a great opportunity to talk to us about here. We do also have a couple of other cool things coming up. Just breaking news late yesterday, the E-Gamers League here in Reynoldsburg is now only $10 for the whole season. So if you like your video games and you like to compete against other people, it's a great opportunity for you, especially as the weather gets nicer. And for some of us that we enjoy our video games so much, we can participate in weekly tournaments. It is first come, first served to get this great discounted price of $10. So go ahead and check it out on the Parks and Rec page. We also have our Reynoldsburg Community Association is accepting nominations for a couple of things. Grand Marshal for the 4th of July Parade. The due date for that is May 27th. And they're also accepting applications for people to participate in the 4th of July Parade. So if you're a local business, if you're a local dance group or martial arts or school group or all of these other ones, they're always participating in the parades, including the politicians. Sorry, it's part of the deal. But come on out and go ahead and check out the Reynoldsburg Community Association page and register for all of that stuff. We also have a cash drop this weekend on the 15th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at all the usual locations, including the 256 corridor, Main and Rose Hill, and all the usual places to support our Lady Raider softball team. We also have our next Nature Night on Friday the 13th, and I think that if there's not something scary involved in that, it should be, because it is Friday the 13th. So reach out to Parks and Rec on that one. We also have a couple of spots still open for watercolors with Misty Day on the 15th. There's still a few spots open for the second class of the day. And then another event on the 21st, there's so many things to go to, is the multicultural event for Reynoldsburg. So we have a great event here at the multicultural event at the Livingston campus from 1 to 4. It's sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce, the Reynoldsburg Community Association, the Reynoldsburg Visitors Bureau, and Reynoldsburg City and Reynoldsburg School District. So come on out and see a whole bunch of things. You're going to have dancing, singing, music, and art, and I am not doing any of those things, so that'll make it enjoyable for everybody. But again, dancing, singing, music, and art will be there, so enjoy that one. Other than that, that's actually kind of wrapping up. Do we have any questions out there from anybody?
Nope.
All right, really looking forward to answering questions. So if you have any of those, feel free and send them out to me. We're going to be back on here next week, and we have a big show planned for next week. We actually have royalty coming. Yes, the Queen herself will be here. The Tomato Festival Queen, Caitlin Dean, will be joining us here live in studio to talk about the Reynoldsburg Tomato Festival pageant. That application window is open. We're also going to talk about one of the groups that actually utilizes our soccer fields. So we have our Club Ohio coming in with Grigory Petrov, who coaches our girls team, and James Norman, who is the director, and they're going to talk about how important youth soccer is for everybody and our partnership and how it's developed with Reynoldsburg Parks and Rec and Club Ohio to have a great event here every summer. So looking forward to that next week. As always, while it's sunny out and bright out, make sure you don't throw your litter away. And as always, put your shopping carts away. Stay safe and respectful, and everybody have a wonderful rest of your day. And again, special thanks to Cornell Robertson for coming out and talking to us about all of our good projects out there. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you next week.